maybe the real monster is society, you know? I wanted to get fucked up, so I should have thought through what I asked for before I asked for it, huh? Like, fuck you. Fuck you. Oh my god. I hate it. But like, where's the murder, you know? Happy October. Hello. It's starting. I'm supposed to be reading. It's the start live show, midnight happening. It's 1 a.m. for me. I have tea in a skull mug. And I just finished reading something we did this week by Ray Bradbury. And it was so good. I'm all spooked up and nowhere to go. I'm gonna start reading and vlog properly tomorrow. Maybe he just needed a straight man. Breakfast time. Don't ask me what time it is. You know, it's Thursday today because men's number 4 have yet to be taken.
Right there on top of the moon, we could sit and do nothing. I wish we were bold to just fly away. I don't wanna care, just be here and I'm good alone. I'll be okay, miss you like an old friend. Too scared now, thinking I should.
So it's October 1st, Thursday, as my pill case has established for us. And I have actually just finished reading my last 2 spooky books that I already read in September because I'm spooky all year round. So I thought I would talk to you about them. Especially, I really want to talk about this one, Something Wicked This Way Comes, by Ray Bradbury. Because I really enjoyed it. I found it by accident when I was searching for The Halloween Tree by the same author. I read The Halloween Tree before, but I had never heard of this. I had never heard of this before, but the title sounded really promising. So I looked at the synopsis, which is basically a spooky carnival comes to a town and 2 young boys explore it, and not all dreams are worth the price that must be paid. Stephen King says it's a darkly poetic tale, Bradbury's best work. I haven't read much Bradbury, just The Halloween Tree and now this one. But I really enjoyed it. It's definitely poetic. Bradbury, he's got this, I'm not sure how to exactly put it, but a feeling for a really special kind of detail to describe and include, which gives just a really realistic but at the same time magical sense of the atmosphere, and I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars because there were a couple of things that kind of pulled me out of the narrative a little bit. So one thing was a paragraph that was like women control time because they give birth. Men don't understand. Which I just like, what? What? This book came out in 1962. Other thing that made me feel a bit weird, which was that he, in a couple of places, refers to Native Americans as Indians. Which I'm not an expert, but I assume that's colonial and not cool. I don't read it as having any malicious intent, so that's why I would still recommend it unless you are personally particularly sensitive about things like that, which is fine, of course. But overall, just a spooky book, but also very tender. I like to describe books like that, I realized, but it's, yeah, it was very nice. The other book I started and finished yesterday because it was short and I wanted something to listen to was The Turn of the Screw by Henry James, which is a classic that I hadn't read. And it's about a young lady who comes as a governess to take care of two rich kids so their uncle doesn't have to deal with them. And she starts seeing apparitions, and there's something weird about the kids, or maybe there's something weird about her. And it's one of those gothic novels where you're constantly like, what's actually happening? What's going on? And I really enjoy that. So I gave it 4 stars also because it's obviously really well done and it was genuinely spooky. I did get a little bit of goosebumps. That was September, now it's October. As you can see, I have my spookiest coffee mug. I also have a skull tea mug that I think I showed you in some clips already, maybe, unless I decide not to include those in the vlog, in which case, yeah. I have bat fairy lights. I have bats on my shirt. I like to think of this hat as a bat hat. I realize it's a cat hat, but black cat, also pretty Halloween, so we're going with it. So my first read from my actual TBR, which you may have seen, is The Magicians. I'm about, I think, 60 pages in so far, 70. And so one of the blurbs in the beginning here describes it as a Harry Potter for adults. I would more so describe it as edgy Harry Potter. Like, so far, this is still a book that I would consider teen friendly, or at least something that teens would enjoy to read. I'm kind of enjoying it so far. I can't really say too much because I'm 70 pages in out of like 500. But yeah, the main character, the point of view character, Quentin, does indeed seem to be a bit insufferable. But that's not necessarily gonna dampen my enjoyment. We'll see. It depends on how it all develops. He's like a miserable 17-year-old boy who's used to being the best, and now he's gotten to this magic school where every single kid is also like the best and smartest and most talented. So he's discovering for the first time what it's like to be mediocre, which is probably good for him. It's also kind of emo and sad. I'm not sure how the magic system actually works, but it seems like Grossman has set it up to be pretty opaque, which is convenient because if we don't understand how something works, that's because he's written into the canon that even magicians don't know how magic works. So that's good, I guess. But yeah, we shall see. We shall see. So this is for dark academia and maybe grey morality. I don't know, I don't have a book for grey morality. I'm just sort of thinking that I'm gonna discover along the way that there's grey morality in one of the books I'm already planning on reading. So, I have to do some other things than read today. I have 2 artwork things to do. I need to film a video for my Patreon, because I do an exclusive video for my Patreon every month. And I also have a portrait commission that I need to finish as soon as possible, because it was a friend's birthday gift to herself, and her birthday was yesterday. I did wish her happy birthday, but I'm late in finishing the actual thing. So, those are the main things on my to-do list today, apart from reading and feeling spooky.
Gång på gång så har folket under revolutionen visat en enorm kreativitet i kampen och för att organisera samhället. Man har organiserat sophantering, boende för hemlösa, skolor och gatan. Det här är ett vanligt fenomen. På grund av juridiskt klasskamp
Okay, I'm gonna print out the activity book. Hi! Let's do some activities in the October activity book. I'm so pumped that this is like a thing. Let's get some Halloween colors. This bucket is my bad art supplies bucket. So it's for felt tip pens and fine liners and stuff like that. And I actually use them quite a lot to just doodle, because it's just really low pressure. It's just, I don't know, it just makes me feel comfy and relaxed and cozy. Also, look at this stupid pencil that I got at Flying Tiger, I think last year. I love googly eyes, and it's really cute, but it's also really takes up a lot of space. And it's just a regular HB pencil, but I like it. It's cute. Here's the felt tip I was looking for. I want to start from the back with the Gothic periodic table. And this has different classics. And I want to see how many I have read. So, first one I see is Interview with a Vampire, which I didn't super enjoy. I don't know. I feel like it has racist undertones. You can choose to write about any period in history and any kind of character, and you choose to write about a slave owner. I just don't. And they're just very aristocratic, and I don't know. It's just not for me, I think. Ooh, Carmilla, I have also read. It's the lesbian vampires from 1873 or something. So actually before Dracula. Frankenstein I have also read, and I love it. Dracula I have read like 2 or 3 times at this point, I think. And the first time I read it, I was genuinely like freaked out. Ooh, Caleb Williams. So let's see if I remember enough of this to like summarize it. I think Hannah Let It talks about it in one of her gothic fiction videos. But essentially, it's about this guy who works for another guy, and it's about morality. I'm trying to remember the name of the guy who wrote it, because it's kind of interesting, because he was married to Mary Wollstonecraft, who wrote A Vindication for the Rights of Woman, I think it's called, and they had a child who was also named Mary and proceeded to marry Percy Shelley and became Mary Shelley, who wrote Frankenstein, which is kind of cool. Rebecca I have also read, and I really love it. It's genuinely uncomfortable in a very like subtle, creepy way, which I think is often more creepy than like outright over the top gory stuff. It's the psychological thing. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde I actually listened to recently in September, and I think it's kind of hard to read it now because it's such a well-known pop culture reference that all of us know the twist already. So I feel like it's kind of unfair to... Macbeth. I have read Macbeth many years ago when I first started literature at university. I don't remember much, but I remember that I enjoyed it. There's witches and stuff. Oh, the Call of Cthulhu is on here. Listen, don't. It's just not worth it. It's just so... There's just so much racism in there. It's really not... Like, no. Just, I don't. Okay, we have Wuthering Heights, Jane Eyre, and Northanger Abbey. I've talked about Northanger Abbey. It's a really fun time. And Jane Eyre, I like the first part of the book most, when Jane is this like sassy young girl who won't take no shit. I kind of don't like the ending, but yeah. I don't remember much of Wuthering Heights. That's one I want to reread. The Bloody Chamber I have read. So that's by Angela Carter, and it's a take on the Bluebeard tale that I don't remember what the origin is of. I think it's a really old like folk tale. The Mysteries of Udolpho is a really early Gothic by Anne Radcliffe. So probably one of the ones Jane Austen was making fun of in Northanger Abbey. And it's very long. I feel like it didn't need to be quite so long. But it's one of those, there's spooky houses and like hidden passages and spooky paintings and a female protagonist who we don't know if the things are actually happening or if she's imagining things. The Picture of Dorian Gray. I don't know how many times I've read that, but it's at least 2. No, 3. At least 3. What else have I read? The Raven Voice is on here, huh? I have read The Raven Cycle. All 4 books. I haven't read Call Down the Hawk yet, which is about one of the characters. I'm thinking I will probably read it at some point, but I'm not like... Ooh, Twilight. I have read Twilight. It was part of my vampire class that I took at uni. And honestly, Twilight gets a lot of shit, but it's not that bad. It's fine. What else? Sharp Objects. Hell yeah. It's not a lot. I have some reading to do. But have fun! Hi. I've had a nap. I feel a bit better. I feel like I said before that I had 2 things to do today. Finish the commission and film a video for Patreon. As if I was gonna do 2 big things in the same day. Like, no, that's not how I work, like, at all. Just to be clear. So it's about 6:30 p.m. now, and I've had a little snack, and maybe I'll get some more painting done on the commission later. But it's important for my health that I don't push it too much. So I'm just gonna chill now. I'm gonna continue with the magicians. If I have anything groundbreaking to say, I will update you. Or if I don't know, do anything interesting the rest of the night, which I highly doubt. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow. Are you seeing this? Gropable breasts. Gropable. Gropable. Really? Enormous bosom. This kid is really obsessed with titties, huh? Unladylike half moons of sweat. So what I'm learning is that this is a magic book about magic books. So there's this book series that the main character is obsessed with. The magic land is called Fillory. It's essentially like a Narnia type book series. And he also gets to his magic world through like a passageway in a similar way to the Narnia wardrobe. And like he keeps bringing it up, and everyone else has also read it. And when he rereads it after having his own magical world, he criticizes it for because there's no explanation of the magic system, like how the spells work and stuff. But that's the same thing that this book is doing. Is that supposed to be like a clever irony or something? I don't know, it just seems kind of stupid to me, but maybe it's clever. It says here on the back, from the San Francisco Chronicle, it also moves so fast that readers won't realize how smart it is. Like, okay, people aren't stupid, come on. But anyway, now it references Tolkien, so Quentin and his friend Alice had to get through a door. It was some kind of test, and another character talking about it is saying, it used to be you could say friend in Elvish and it would let you in, but now too many people have read Tolkien. which I thought was kind of funny. But yeah, I'm on page 123. And I still don't know how to feel about it. I don't know about the morality, and I don't know about the dark academia either. Like, I feel like it needs to get a bit darker. He's been in a fist fight once, but like, where's the murder, you know? We'll see. We will see. Here's a lifestyle aspect to this vlog for you. Mac and cheese snack pot at 11 p.m. Hi. So it's midnight and I have some thoughts. So I'm about 2/3 of the way through The Magicians. I've read all night. And I don't know if it's because I'm interested, which I am, or because I want this to be over. But here we are. And here's the thing. I thought that Quentin, our main asshole, would kind of grow up as time progressed. Because like we started the book when he's 17 and I was like, I guess 17-year-old boys are obsessed with boobs, and I could sort of get it, even though I still didn't enjoy it, but it made sense. In canon it made sense, at least. But now he's in his 20s and he has had no development, and what's really bothering me is that the main problem for Quentin is that things are too easy, and that makes everything seem meaningless to him. And I just can't with that. It's like, wow, poor you. You can do magic, so you could do anything you want. And all you want to do is get drunk and do drugs and cheat on your girlfriend. Also, this magic school that they've gone to gives them a fucking trust fund, and they can like do magic to secure housing in fucking Manhattan, and he just, oh boo-hoo, my life is meaningless because things are too easy. Like, fuck you, oh my god, I hate it. But I am still interested because I do on some level enjoy that exploration of magic, because I feel like that's not explored a lot in magical worlds. The kind of like, what are the limits and what kind of problems do you get, especially in magic worlds that are parallel to our reality, like this is. So I don't know, I think that's interesting. And the sort of meta thing with, I mean, Fillory, that's obviously Narnia. It's kind of weird that he hasn't mentioned Narnia, because he's name dropped Tolkien and now Harry Potter too. I don't know. He's an unlikable protagonist for sure. And I don't know about grey morality. I think he's just an asshole. I just had to get this rant out there. She hit like a girl. So, I stayed up until 5 a.m. finishing The Magicians. And I don't know what to do now. I put on some makeup and some pretty things because I slept in for so long and I don't like to feel like failure. So, and I mean, if you wear lipstick, you have your life under control. That's just basic biology. Biology? Physics? I should have thought that through. Anyway. So as much as I hated the main character, I was still invested in seeing where the story went, and I think that's quite a feat because I am typically a very character-driven type of reader, but also the fact that he is so unlikable and so shitty is a big part of the point of this book. So this book essentially told me reading a book about magic isn't gonna help you escape your real life. That's all you have. Deal with it. Because that's Quentin's problem. He's constantly looking for like his real life to begin, the real story, something that's gonna make him happy, something external. And Alice, his friend, tells him outright that he's fucked up. And I was like, yes, girl. So the reason him being an asshole is important is because a friend of mine on Twitter pointed out that he really likes Quentin as an anti-hero who doesn't get like morally upstanding suddenly when he finds a magic world, and magic doesn't really solve anything either. First of all, it's really hard work, and then when you do like master it after doing all that hard work, it still doesn't solve anything pretty much. And I really like having magic handled like that. The friend who recommended this to me said that he had never read anything like it, and I have to say the same. I have never read a fantasy like this, and like I think it was really good, but I was also just so frustrated at Quentin's like gropable breasts and all the shit he said and like the shitty things he does. I'm like, but why? You're so... But it does make sense within the story why he's doing it. We are given like a reason. I just think the reason is really dumb, but it is accounted for in the canon. It's a really well done book. So I ended up giving it 4 stars out of 5, which may seem like a lot considering all the shit I think I showed you, but I just really appreciate the commentary, even if it made me feel a bit fucked up. But like, I wanted to get fucked up, so I should have thought through what I asked for before I asked for it, huh? Which is also like the thing of this book. Careful what you wish for. But would I recommend it? That's another question that I cannot answer for the life of me, so don't ask me. I truly don't know what to make of my experience. It was a wild ride. It was an emotional roller coaster, and I am gonna count this as grey morality. I don't have a solid definition of what grey morality really entails. Like, at the end of the day, aren't we all morally grey? You know, not to sound like fake deep or whatever. But I guess it's about what you're consciously trying to do. Like, you can consciously try to do good things, but by accident do a bad thing because you couldn't account for some factors. And you can do what Quentin does, and sometimes consciously do good things, and sometimes consciously do bad things because you're a self-sabotaging dickhead. Maybe I found him too relatable. I don't know. His girlfriend was really great, and I was kind of thrilled to find out that there is a graphic novel, which is the events of this book from her point of view. I literally tweeted at the halfway point. I was like, I would much rather read from her perspective, and that exists. So maybe I will check that out at some point. Maybe, baby. I started listening to the Yellow Wallpaper while I was putting the makeup on, and I'm almost done with it now. It's really short. So I might check in about that later. Otherwise, we'll see when I will probably start reading something else tonight. So I'll see you then. Okay. Thank you. Goodbye for now. Hi. So it's Saturday. Yesterday didn't go so well for me. After I filmed the last clip, I pretty much didn't work because I had to go to bed again, and I just slept on and off, and when I was awake I was just sitting, staring, or lying down and listening to audiobooks. So I listened to The Yellow Wallpaper and to The Ballad of Black Tom, and I have thoughts on both, but spoilers, I really liked both of them. The Ballad of Black Tom is a fucking masterpiece, and I recommend it to everyone, but I'm gonna take some more time to talk about it soon. I have just gotten my act together and filmed my Patreon video. I painted this, which is, yeah, I don't know. That's what I did. So I'm gonna edit that video now, and then probably watch Draw Detectives on the Drawfee channel with my partner. And yeah, oh, I also started actually reading The Icarus Girl yesterday, because Hannah, I think, was doing reading sprints on the Gothtober Twitter. So I started that one as well. Reading is a lot easier than basically anything else to get done, but I still feel bad. It feels like eating candy when I haven't eaten my vegetables. But it's a real thing. I hope no one who watches this judges me. Alright, I will check in with you about the wallpaper and the ballad in a bit. Good evening. I have a cup of tea, and I still have my painting sweater on, and let's talk about the two books I listened to yesterday. So, The Yellow Wallpaper is, first of all, it's a short story, so the audio was 40 minutes, so it was really quick read. And for some reason I thought it was later than it was. I thought it was from the first half of the 1900s at some point, but it's from 1892. And yeah, I don't know if it actually fits lies or not. I can't really decide, but I think I'm gonna count it as that anyway. It's definitely an unreliable narrator, at any rate. So, it's about this woman who is stuck in a room because she seems to suffer from postnatal depression, and her husband is a doctor, and he's like, you need to rest and not write and not entertain your imagination in any way. And she is very bored, and she wants to write, and she wants to go visit some friends, and he's just like, no. And I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was really good, and it really made me think about my own experiences with healthcare, where doctors and psychologists have just not listened to me, not believed me, and just in general been really super shitty. Anyway, that's a bunch of stuff about me that I'm gonna cut out probably. But yeah, just the fact that someone in a position of authority can just dismiss you and you're powerless to stop it. And especially for her as a woman, married to a doctor, she was just like stuck in that house essentially. And yeah, I have no idea what actually happened in that story. I read some reviews on Goodreads to figure out what other people's theories are, but if you have any Yellow Wallpaper theories, please let me know. The Ballad of Black Tom. It was everything I had hoped for and more. But first of all, I didn't need to read Call of Cthulhu, because it's not actually based on that. It's I found in a Goodreads review that I read after I read the book, I found a link to an interview with Victor Laval where he talks about his relationship to Lovecraft and sort of the lead up to him writing this book. I'm gonna leave the link in my description because reading this interview is what I would recommend if you, like me, are interested in the intertextual, like the conversation between Lovecraft and Laval, which is why I put myself through reading actual Lovecraft. You don't need to do that. You can just read that interview with Laval, because he talks really, really well about it, speaks really well about it. He's very eloquent, and I thought it was super interesting. So the actual book, in a way, I loved it. It was spooky and creepy, and really, and it like ramps up the spookiness in a really like, in a way that's subtle, but it's also a pretty short book, so it's not like dragged out, but it's done really well. So the first half of the book we follow Tommy, or Black Tom, and the second half we follow a police officer named Malone and see his point of view. And how much should I say without spoiling? So essentially we start with Tommy and follow his journey to starting to find out about this occult weird stuff, and we also see his daily struggles of like making a living and navigating racism in 1920s New York. And it's just, maybe the real monster is society, you know? When I say it like that, it sounds really cheesy, but like genuinely, it's so good. But there are non-societal monsters as well. Spoilers, but yeah. 5 stars, I would strongly recommend. And yeah, just absolute. I started listening to it and then I just couldn't stop, and I just listened to it all in one go. It was just, I was hooked. I was in it. So that was an excellent, excellent read. And I really want to look into now what else he has written, because I dig it. I dig it. Who says that? It's pretty late now. There was a live read-in earlier that I sort of put on in the background, but I was busy editing my Patreon video, and then I spent some Zoom time with my boyfriend and we watched Draw Detectives, which is a drawing role-playing show that Drawfee do on their YouTube channel, and it's really fun if you want something fun to watch. And now I kind of just want to draw, so I'm gonna look at my Gothtober list of audiobooks on Scribd and see what I feel like listening to. I still have The Icarus Girl, but as you can see I haven't gotten very far, and I want to do some drawing, so I'm gonna find an audiobook and yeah.
There's not much to do when all I can is thinking about you. Not doing well, don't know where you are, 'cause you're not here. It's been way too long. If I could lay down beside you, I would, when nothing really matters.
He kissed the image of Lady Death.
Good morning. It's Sunday, the day of rest, except when you work from home and never feel like you're allowed to rest, because you already rest involuntarily too much. So you don't have any real rest, because life's a bitch. I was considering filming this clip somewhere else in my apartment to pretend like I don't spend like 80% of my life in this sofa, but that would be a lie. I started listening to Cemetery Boys last night, and so far so good. I don't have a ton to say about it just yet. I'm enjoying it. Cemetery Boys is a new young adult release that I've heard a lot of good things about. It's I think urban fantasy is the proper term. It's like a contemporary setting with magic, and that's my I love that. So it's about a Latino trans boy who's struggling to be accepted as a brujo, a male wielder of magic in the Latin American tradition, I think is a good way to say it. So yeah, and there are all kinds of spirits and ghosts and things. So that's for sure undead character, which is good. But anyway, I have more things to say about the Ballad of Black Tom. I keep thinking about it. And one of the things that I thought made it so good was that the political content of it was so simultaneously clear but artful and subtle. Like, it was very natural and effortless, and like when you read that interview with Laval that I mentioned, it makes perfect sense, because it was a very organic part of the process. But the reason I'm so impressed is because whenever I try to make something with political content, not writing a whole book right now, but just when I try to make a scene or a comic or something, which I don't do a lot precisely because I find it difficult. But my struggle is always that I want to be super clear about what I want to say, but I don't want to come off like I'm talking down to the audience. I was just really impressed with how it was done. Like, I don't think anyone is gonna read it and be like, ah, so preachy, because it wasn't. Then again, I personally rarely mind things that other people consider preachy, so I don't know, maybe take it with a grain of salt. I am all about having like a clear message that you want to drive home. I respect someone who has a strong opinion, unless they have a super bad opinion, in which case I actually don't respect it, like Lovecraft. Fuck his opinions. And the other thing that I really enjoyed is that while we definitely sympathize with characters in the book, there are no like good guys and bad guys. Like, everyone is morally gray. Maybe actually one of the cops is pretty much just all bad, but it's very, very flawed characters, but also very relatable. I just really, really love that book. It was so fucking excellent. It's Lavalian horror from now on. This is your heads up. lighting is really bad, but here's the portrait I've been working on. I don't think it's gonna get better than this, so I'm calling it. It is done. As soon as it's dried, I will deliver it in a properly COVID-safe manner. So this is gonna be the end of this vlog, I think, because I had a lot to say. So a 4-day vlog, and I do plan to make more. Hopefully I can actually follow through on that, my health permitting. Thank you for hanging out. Please let me know all of your thoughts. And please let me know if you plan to read The Ballad of Black Tom. And if not, I require a 1,000-word essay with references. No, but seriously, you should really read The Ballad of Black Tom. You will not regret it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. Let me know what you thought of the books I've read, if you have read them, or if they sound interesting to you. And I will be back soon. I have fun doing this. So yeah, stay spooky and read Lennon, stay hydrated, take care of yourself, and if you're one of my patrons, thanks, love you. Okay, I'll see you soon. Goodbye!